really wherever. Like, I don't know. Wow.
because, Good morning. All right, let's stand and sing together. What are we singing? So fall is tomorrow. We are going to sing Chant for the Seasons. Summertime has turned the star wheel, autumn is upon us. Summertime has turned the star wheel, autumn is upon us. Sweet the angling sun, sweet upon the air, the smell of blue mist rising. Summertime has turned the star wheel, autumn is upon us. Glorious the trees, glorious the sight of rust leaves falling, falling. Summertime has turned the star wheel, autumn is upon us.
Good morning. Great to see all of you here this morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Spokane, where we join together to create a nourishing, liberal religious home and to champion justice, diversity, and environmental stewardship in our wider world. Or as we like to say, in short, to create community, find meaning, and work for justice. Welcome, everyone. Glad to have all of you. We begin, as usual, by embracing all that you bring with you, all of your unique beliefs and background and lifestyle and experiences and differences, all that helps make you who you are. And that includes those of you who are in the room with us this morning, whether you are regular attendees or maybe joining us for the first time. We're glad to have all of you, and we're certainly glad to have all of those who are live streaming with us this morning as well, wherever you're from. Great to have all of you. So welcome to one and all. I do want to welcome Will Luders, who is with Spokane 350. There's Will right there, center aisle. Will is going to be talking more about 350 Spokane at one of our tables after the service. So if you want to find out about this environmental organization and what it is up to and how you might get involved, please visit Will after our service. Also wanted to let you know that we had our Libraries for Ethiopia Foundation's dinner on Friday, which was delicious. I mean, incredibly authentic Ethiopian food made right here in our own kitchen. And they made so much, they left it. And so we're going to have some of it put out after the service during our social hour, and grab a seat and have a bite to eat, that sort of thing. And we'll actually be taking up a special collection for them today as well. But as some of you know, that Lynn Janishian and Alan Foster and Shelley McClellan have their first jar of honey from their first year with their bees, right? And it's a little jar like that, and they've done the math, paying fair wages to the number of bees that have been involved in making this, and have realized it's worth over $13 million. And they have had raffle tickets for sale for the past couple of weeks. They're well on their way to earning that $13 million, but we're not quite there yet. So they will be selling tickets, continuing to sell tickets right up until the drawing today during social hour. So if you want to see Lynn, or I don't know where the tickets are in the back. And Alan will be back there selling tickets where the balloons are and whatnot. So we'll find out who the lucky winner is. Remind me, those are $5 a ticket. $5 for 20. $5 for 20. $50 will give you 13 tickets. And how much if they just give you the whole 13 million? How many tickets? They'll just give it to them for that. The odds are in their favor at that point. Might as well. Okay. Well, it's a great worthy cause, so thank you for contributing to that as well. Okay, let's take a couple of seconds here at the start of our service, as usual, to greet one another. Okay, and as mentioned, more time to visit following our service, so please stay around for that. Thanks to Jean Larson for leaving us with these beautiful flowers. This was part of Gordon Larson's memorial service yesterday, so it's wonderful to be able to continue to celebrate his memory during our service this morning. Okay, we are going to move forward now by lighting our chalice. The chalice is the symbol of our unity and our solidarity, of our openness and our inclusion, of our community and our individual uniqueness. May this small flame be our offering of warmth to those who are cold and alone, and a light to those in darkness. May it be a flame that ignites justice in our world and a beacon of hope to those in need, and may it reflect at least a spark of truth wherever truth has been lost, and cast a healthy shadow of doubt wherever it's been found.
For our opening reflection, I note that today, the eve of our autumnal equinox, is not merely Sunday, but also Sun Day, as proclaimed by Bill McKibben, the longtime climate activist, writer, and ecological philosopher. He just published a must-read book, my evaluation, which is called Here Comes the Sun, a last chance for the climate and a fresh chance for civilization. In it, he shows how, outside the dystopian theme park known as Trumpy Land, the world is going solar exponentially rapidly. Last year, for example, Google made a splash, something of a splash, by announcing that it was going to bring online by 2035, 10 years from now, 0.5 gigawatt of new power from nuclear for its AI centers. For perspective, consider that today China is launching 3 gigawatts of power each and every 24 hours from solar. They have the production capacity to carry this on indefinitely. In California, 15 months ago, the state began supplying an average of 100% of its own energy needs during the day from solar power, and at night that was complemented by solar, which was stored in batteries. As a result, California is now consuming 40% less natural gas for generation of electricity. Now, 40%, those are the kinds of numbers that make real differences. These changes mark the most transformational and consequential ecological story of our time. Sun Day celebrates that story and promotes the transformation. And in the back of our sanctuary today, previous speaker that we've had here in the UU Church, Professor Larry Luton of Eastern Washington University, representing 350 Spokane, It will be available with further information on how to get engaged and to accelerate this transition.
All right, let's stand and sing Our World is One World. Our world is one world. What touches one affects us all. The seas that wash us round about, the clouds that cover us, the rains that fall. Our world is one world. The thoughts we think affect us all. The way we build our attitudes with love or hate we make a bridge or wall. Our world is one world. Its ways of wealth affect us all. The way we spend, the way we share, who are the rich or poor, who stand or fall. Our world is one world, just like a ship that bears us all, where fear and greed make many holes, but where our hearts can hear a different call.
We will now kindle our candles of care for those who are most on our hearts and minds this morning. We want to begin with a candle on behalf of David Deerdorf, who is currently under hospice care. He is at home and in good spirits, but we're thinking of him and his wife Madeline and their family at this time. Also, for Wayne and Marga Hanna, while celebrating their 60th anniversary in Europe, Wayne had to be hospitalized with some very serious health problems, so please keep them in mind as well. A lot of you don't know Wayne and Marga Hanna, but they're definitely friends of our congregation. They're from Canada, so we don't get to see them in person that often. And a candle celebrating the birthday of our operations manager, Rebecca Adams. It's today. So wish her a happy birthday when you see her next. And as we have been on behalf of the people of Ukraine and the people of Russia and that region of the world suffering from the necessary war and violence there. And it dawned on me at our first service, with so many countries now recognizing a Palestinian state, rather than referring to the Palestinians, I can actually say Palestine. So, yes. So a candle on behalf of the people of Palestine, as well as the people of Israel and Iran and Syria, caught up in the horrors going on in that region of the world. Also on behalf of the people of Darfur and South Sudan, suffering from war and ethnically driven violence and displacement and hunger and a lot of things that aren't making the headlines in our own nation, but are happening there every day as well. And then, of course, for the many frightened immigrants in our country, be they here legally or illegally, who are living in fear of even leaving their own homes, of going to work, of sending their children to school, all of those horrible things. We certainly keep a candle lit for them and them in our thoughts as well. And let's take a moment of silence, as usual, on behalf of those you might be thinking of, and as always, you're welcome to name them aloud at this time, if you'd like. those named aloud and those embraced in our silence, and all those who are suffering in our world at this hour, we hold in our community with compassion. This is our third Sunday. We usually take up a special collection for an organization or cause that we care about, and this Sunday special collection is on behalf of the Libraries for Ethiopia Foundation. If you were here last Sunday, you learned about the great work they're doing, trying to address the book poverty that exists in Ethiopia by converting an old building into a library and actually getting children's books that are in the right language and will be bountiful enough to help children there read. Their goal is to make sure no child in the world anywhere has to live without the opportunity to read. So if you want to contribute to this, you'll find a special collection envelope in your order of service. Just feel free to use that. You don't have to seal it. We'll recycle it in the spirit of our care for the earth. If you've already licked it, that's okay too. If we can't reuse it, we'll recycle it. How's that? But anyway, thank you so much for your care and compassion and generosity in advance. We now gratefully give and receive this morning's offering, which helps sustain this community and our mission to the larger world.
perfect song for the 21st of September, and no more perfectly played. So I'd like to invite any children or anybody of all ages, if you'd like to come forward. I'm going to talk a little bit about books and reading today. And then we're going to go talk about books and reading back in RE. We have been talking a lot about books, reading, and libraries in our church lately. Todd recently gave a sermon titled What to Read and Why. You can find his recommendations both on our website and also hanging on the trifold kiosk at the back of the Friendship Hall. You can have a seat right up here. You can sit on the floor if you'd like to, or right on the chairs. Great. Great, and we'll all walk out together in just a few minutes. This past week, we learned about the Libraries for Ethiopia Foundation, and took up a special collection just today for that important cause. And today is our first Reading Across the Lifespan Sunday of this church year in religious education. But before we head back to the RE wing, I want to share something I learned from our very own Spokane School District. In their recent newsletter, they announced that 77% of our third graders are reading at grade level. That's 3 out of 4 kids. Pretty great, right? Woo! We are lucky to have good schools and devoted teachers in this community. But it also means that 1 out of 4 is not quite there yet. And that can translate into an achievement gap that makes reading a social justice issue. Dun, dun, dun. And who loves a social justice issue more than the Unitarians? Instead of feeling discouraged with that statistic, I thought, wait a minute, doesn't this sound like something we could actually help with? Not in a let's take over the teacher's job sort of way, we can't do that, but in a fun and joyful way, the way God intended reading to be. Because here's the truth. Kids don't just learn to read at school, they learn by watching us. When they see us enjoying reading, they discover that reading isn't just homework, it's joy, it's adventure, it's freedom. And you know what's different and special about this church? We are people who love ideas. We believe books are nourishment for our minds. We celebrate stories of all kinds. We don't shut down voices. We don't ban books. We believe books are life. And most importantly, we believe that in a free and just society, people need and deserve access to books. Doesn't that make us the perfect people to show our community what a culture of reading can look like? So let's do it. Here are a few ways to get involved, with more of us coming up with ideas all the time. And if you have any great ideas, come see me after church. We have a monthly book club that's been meeting for years, the Third Thursday Book Club, they call themselves. They're currently reading News of the World by Paulette Giles. We have a poetry sharing circle on the second Sunday of the month, where we share both original poems and favorite works by others. And new on the docket is our Secret Readers Society Silent Reading Club, inspired by groups that are springing up across the country in libraries, coffee shops, and even fancy hotels, and now in this very church. Twice a month, it's perfect for those of us who want to read quietly in community with others. No traditional book club deadlines, and no commitment to read a book you didn't really want to read in the first place. We spend about 30 minutes reading whatever we choose, any genre you wish, in any format, a print book, an e-reader, or audio headphones. And then we take some time to talk together about books, reading, and new ideas. It's like a potluck of stories, Everybody brings something different, and together we make a reading feast. The secret is it's more fun together. And today, our children in religious education are continuing their own journeys by building their own home libraries, choosing books to take home and keep. You can help by donating any children's books you have lying around in your home, or even better, by giving funds so that we can actually place the exact book some of our children request right into their hands. There are so many ways to grow readers, to become readers, and to live an enriched life of reading across your entire lifespan. Let's all be like Gordon Larson, as we remembered yesterday at his memorial service, reluctant to take a pause in his reading, a toothbrush in one hand and a book in the other. When we nurture a culture of reading, we're not just enjoying ourselves, we're building a more just world, because every child who learns to read with joy gains more freedom. Every adult who models that curiosity keeps doors open for the next generation, and every community that celebrates reading is planting seeds of equity, imagination, and hope. Thanks, Jackie.
For today's meditation, I invite you into a state of repose. Make yourselves comfortable. Close your eyes if you like. Breathe slowly and deeply and mindfully. And reflect on the words of Thomas A. Edison, scientist, inventor, entrepreneur, and founder of the Edison Electric Illuminating Company, the corporation that started lighting up New York City electrically around 1882. That's about the time that our church was founded and going on a century and a half ago. His words: "I'd put my money on the sun and solar energy. What a source of power. I hope we don't have to wait until the end until oil and coal run out to tackle that."
Wow, now I got to follow that. I mean, I'm pretty sure I heard Mozart leaping out of his grave saying, at last, somebody played that sonnet the way it's supposed to be played. Jackie, you are amazing. Thank you. So anything that follows will pale in comparison. What I have to say will not be nearly as perfect as that was, I guarantee. So, a little bit of credit? You humble me. You humble me. Thank you. Well, this is what we call Conversations with Todd, something I do just about once a quarter or so. And I just really open it up to questions and try to respond to them. You know, questions maybe about things I've talked about or things I haven't talked about. I don't like to deal with church business, so we'll save that for business meetings and whatnot. But Tara has a microphone, so if you'll wait for her to come forward with a microphone, raise your hand, and we want people who are live streaming to be able to hear what you have to say as well. So,
hi, Todd. In light of the suppression of a whole bunch of things going on at the national level in all areas, from speech to publications to research, environmental and medical, and here we all sit as individuals. What do you suggest we sitting around our breakfast table or sitting on our chair at home can do that would have some effect, either individually or collectively?
well, that's a tough question. You know, I think the Stoic philosophers talk a lot about the wisdom of knowing the difference between what you can control and what you can't control. And we get those things confused a lot, and we tend to obsess about the things that we can't control rather than focusing on the things that we can control. We had our Ethiopian fundraiser here just Friday, and I mentioned that. You know, I said, you know, we feel out of control on a lot of things right now, but here's something we can do to make a real difference in real people's lives. Small thing compared to the issues that our country is facing. So I think my first advice really is to adopt a stoic attitude, you know, and recognize that there are things that we are powerless to face. I mean, I can't impact who the president is. I can't impact the decisions that make. I can't impact a Congress that seems complicit. I can't impact a Supreme Court that seems complicit. I can't impact what seems to be an erosion of our freedoms and our human decency that we hoped we had at least arrived at a level of understanding and learning from the mistakes of our past. I don't feel that there's any advice I can give you to change that, right? So I think part of it is recognizing that we're in a historic moment, like a lot of people. There's a lot of people in the world right now that are facing historic circumstances that are devastating to them, right? The people in Gaza, people in Ukraine, people in Darfur, you know, Sudan, immigrants in our country, and lots of others. There's just a lot of suffering going on, and I wish we could just make it all go away. Some of us pretend to make it go away by denying that it's even happening, and that is one defense mechanism. But I think the most important thing is to acknowledge that it's happening and then focus on the small differences that we can make to alleviate whatever suffering in the lives of those around us that we can impact. I would say that as religious liberals, as Unitarians in particular, whose whole shtick is individual freedom, the freedom to express ourselves, the freedom to think for ourselves, and the devotion to that right in others, no matter how much we might agree or disagree with them, is part of the message that is most needed in our world right now. Right, we've turned into a country where all that gets attention is the extremes. From what I understand, statistically, most people are not on the extremes. But the extremes are the ones the algorithms like. And the extremes are the ones that the algorithms play for us in so much of the various mediums out there where we get information. So we start to think that's what the world is like, that's what people want. Most of us don't. But to continue to be brave, to say what needs to be said, and to be caring, to care for those that we can, I think is the best advice that I can give. Thank you for that. Anyone else? Just raise your hand and Tara will come forward with the microphone. Or if you're done. Oh, there's one up here. And by the way, if you're just visiting or new to the congregation, feel free to ask any questions as well.
I'd like to follow up on that, your answer. How do you feel or think about, I'm speaking for myself, I have to do something, and I'm certainly not the most active person here. There are many people that are out politically, voicing, acting. What do you think of that, Todd, and of our church being involved in standing on overpasses, writing postcards, whatever it might be? I'm feeling a little not answered and needing more from my church to grasp onto, and from you, I guess. Do you understand my question? I'm not even sure I do. It's just there wasn't enough oomph to that for a Unitarian for me. Your answer.
There wasn't enough oomph in it? Oh, okay. Well, I mean, that's it. Yeah, I mean, who am I going to pick a fight with? Right. Well, I mean, who am I going to make a show to? Right. And I'm not being argumentative. I'm just saying, I'm not at a place in my life where I like to do things that don't matter. Right. And I particularly not in a place in my life where I want to go out and demonstrate or protest the evil enemy. Okay. As I've said for years, my days of dragon slaying are over, because they're not dragons. They're not even windmills. They're not giants. They're people. And I burned myself early in my life by making myself feel good at the expense of others. And it may not be the same as assassinating somebody who is at a rally, as much as I might disagree with that person. Charlie Kirk, for example. But to go after, the humanity, to deny the humanity of people who I disagree with by demonizing them, and those tend to be the opportunities that are out there, right? Let's go out and demonstrate, let's go protest, let's go march and we feel good about like we've done something. I don't know what we've done except make ourselves feel good about a situation, but not really making a difference to impact that. Now, there are some demonstrations that do. The one that we had a few months ago where there were 5 million people around the country demonstrating, that got a lot of attention. Right, that stirred up sentiments. And I think those, for me, my activism has always been what I call prophetic drama, where you do something to get attention, because it's not enough for me just to go out and make myself feel good by doing something. I have to do something that presumably will get attention. If I want to get a message out, how am I going to do that? How am I going to do that? And how am I going to make it happen? So, for example, several years ago, I started saving my garbage from Earth Day to Earth Day. And on Earth Day, I sent press releases out, and so the media could come and see what it looks like for one family to save all their trash for a year. How much trash do we produce, right? And then I produced that into a 360 video, so now you can put on a headset and go and look and see what a year's worth of trash looks like for one couple anyway. That kind of stuff grabs attention, right? Not always, but there's a better chance of it. When I stopped performing marriages in my church in Louisville, when Kentucky had become one of several states to ban gay marriage in their constitution, that made the news. No more I do's, right? And then I got fired from my secular job for that. So I used that as another mechanism for, broadcasting my voice, if you will. So I call that prophetic drama. But it's really hard now to do that because there's so much more medium out there that you can't make that happen. So, I don't know. I don't have an answer, but I'm not somebody who is going to just get in the pulpit or get in, create busy work for myself for things that don't add up to a practical difference. And I don't want to make myself feel good like I've done something when I haven't done anything. For one thing, it's terrible what's going on. It feels terrible. It should feel terrible. It should feel terrible. It's scary. It should feel scary. It's scary because we're not sure if we're going to come through it. Those are realities we have to face. Right? So I have a very different philosophy than I did when I was a younger, more radical minister. I mean, I'm still a very radical minister, writing a book of dissenting opinions against my own religion and handing it out. That had the impact I wanted it to, and some impacts I didn't want it to. Right? But those are the kind of things I do, and I don't have any magic bullet to say here's what that looks like for you. I've tried to demonstrate how I do it, and also say what I'm not willing to do. So, just a little deeper clarity. Thank you. You're very welcome. Yep. Thanks for asking the question. Yes.
Hi, Dan. You reference a time of life, and that struck a chord with me. I, as a younger person, had an impact on things, worked hard and believe I did, and know I had an impact in some real arenas. But I find now, as I go on, that I'm retreating to contemplation and working on what I may call hypothetical eternal verities, or just somehow more abstract and hopefully perhaps deeper, but very personal issues. And as we've been speaking of this entire conversation, that is disappointing to me, and I wonder if that's enough. But, as you say, don't want empty performative gestures, and it's, I'm shocked at, aside from my doom scrolling, which I seem unable to escape, that I have retreated up here in the woods. And it's a problem, and I wonder if you comment further on that. Thank you.
You know, there's lots of healthy and unhealthy ways to cope with difficulties. Sometimes retreating is a healthy way, and sometimes it's an unhealthy way. I can't actually tell you the difference, but it goes back to that question of, what I can control and what I can't control. And there are things within our power to change. There are things that are not in our power to change. And there are things within our power to potentially change, but maybe not. And those are the questions before us whenever we decide, are we going to act or are we going to retreat? If we can't make a difference, then one thing we need to do is self-care. And if that means I need to withdraw to protect myself and take care of myself and make sure that the anxieties and the fears and the frustrations don't get the best of me, do that. And sometimes we need to do that even if we are the most active person in the world. That's why almost all religions have some form of a sabbat, right? A Sabbath, a break, where you take a break from your busyness, your activity, just to sit back and look at the world and see the good in it, right? It is good. It is good. The problem, again, is that we tend to get them confused. We fight and struggle against the things that we can't change, and we don't concentrate on the things that we can change. So we do end up wasting a lot of energy and not making much of an impact. So take a Sabbath of the soul, a winter of the soul when you need to, and do what you can to make things different. Yes, so we've got 3 in a row here. So Tara, I'll let you decide, and then we'll who there.
Hi, I'm Sarah, and the last couple of questions really, really resonated with me. I have a preschooler, and I have chronic health issues, so I'm low energy at my baseline. These are conversations that I've had a lot with my husband and one of my best friends as well. And I just wanted to mention that there was a book that my friend recommended to me that really helped me feel better about a lot of that, trying to figure out where is it worth putting time? How do you find ways to positively impact things in like a tangible way, not just a performative way, if that makes sense. And I just wanted to say the book was Microactivism by Kari Williams. Yeah, Microactivism by Kari Williams. If you just type Microactivism book, it'll come up. It's what I was fussing with on my phone. Yeah, I didn't really have a question so much as recognizing that was true for other people too.
Thank you for the book. Microactivism sounds a lot better to me than microaggression.
Hey, McDonald, I have 2 women friends whose intellect I respect, and I've tried to talk and get opinions and understand their point of view, and they just want to shut me down. And I'm asking if you have any techniques for getting people to feel safe and engage in conversation. My relationships with these women go back 50 years.
Well, what I would advise you to do is write a book about all the reasons you're concerned about them and then give it out to them. Now,
That's microaggression.
yeah, I'm probably the worst person to ask that that question of. I don't. I mean, I I will say this, that there was a reaction to my book, for example, that was very surprising coming from a liberal organization. For those who don't know, I wrote a book about critical of our religion, and within 24 hours I was out. So effectively. So I'll tell you a story. An anecdote. There were people in our own congregation who were very upset with me, who are no longer with us. I mean, I didn't kill them. They left. Right? They wanted to kill me. One of them, I won't give their name or much about them, okay, but it was a person that I felt pretty close to at the church here, who went online, was just like a maniac online. I mean, just social media became my worst critic, dehumanized me. I mean, just like an attack dog. It was absolutely horrible. And I was really surprised, that this person in particular was one of there were a lot of people that surprised me, but this person in particular really surprised me, especially given conversations we've had and the values we shared, the concerns we shared. It was really, really kind of a surprise and disappointing. And now this person had some health issues and wasn't able to come to church for a long time, so I hadn't seen them. During all this period. And at some point, we were going to, when those folks were still here and we were going to have one of these BS meetings to try to resolve things or whatever it was they were trying to do, I can't remember, this person was going to help with the technology remotely. And we had to have a pre-meeting to discuss that. And that person was as kind to me and as humane to me as they had ever been. Now, what was the difference? We could see each other. We could see the humanity in each other. Right? So that, you will find that most often that makes a difference. When the people that like to go online and do these flaming emails and these posts on Facebook and all of these things that are expressing themselves in ways they would not do to your face, is not a hypocritical thing. It's a human thing, right? Because the way we connect with each other is through these mirror neurons, and the mirror neurons are the very first thing to develop. That's why one of the first things babies learn to do is smile, right? We're always smiling at babies. Well, they start mirroring us and smiling back. I've seen a lot of kids, who were adopted as infants, that grow up looking just like their adoptive parents, right? Their faces, right? Because they mirror the faces. That's what we do. And this is not how humans communicate. This is how humans communicate. So I would just say that might be a little bit of advice to, try to stay in contact with them in a way that it's physical and less threatening to them, or at least where you're more human to them than you might seem if you're not in their presence. And that's probably good advice for all of us, to remember to engage the mirror neurons. It's something that a lot of young people don't do as well as older folks because of the technology they're growing up around. So I think we have one more up here. Yep. So, thank you.
Hi, Todd.
Hey.
This is a very personal question that goes back to when I was 4 years old, living in Baltimore in a very lovely house. I was lucky and hadn't gone to school yet. And I asked the cleaning lady who came to our house once a week, why do you call, she was black, why do you call my mother ma'am when she calls you Mrs. Brown? And throughout my life, most of it's gone now, but the different chapters have not changed very much. I still ask, why? Why are black and brown people so discriminated against in this world? And I have no answer. I wonder if you can help me.
Well, that's a big question. I guess I grew up in a very different situation. I've lived in the South most of my adult life, so I was surprised when I left California at the segregation that I saw in our society, right? Informal, but, from old redlining laws like we still have on the books here in Spokane, to just, black neighborhoods, black communities. I remember when Hillary Clinton was running and she referred to something for our black communities, and I just thought, why do we have black communities? Why can't we just have communities? When are we going to get to that point? Because those are the communities I grew up in. Now, it was tough. I and moved into my neighborhood that I lived the rest of my life in when I was 4 years old, right, in 1969. So and it was a very, very diverse community. It was poor, That's why it was diverse, right? And there was a lot of racism there. Everybody was racist. Because that's what we were taught. We were taught it from our parents. I remember when we moved in, I was 5 years old. And I moved into this house with my brother and sister, and these kids across the street were the exact same age as us and same genders and everything. We played the whole day. My parents were moving in this little, 1,250 square foot house I would grow up in. And I just thought it was great. We moved in what a place. I've got instant friends. And the next morning, I was out in the yard, and they came out, and I said hi. Now these were black kids, Jan and Tony and Jerome, and I said, "Hey, hi guys!" I was so eager to see them, and they said, "Don't talk to us, you little bald ass white eagle," Yeah, I know. And I was shocked. I didn't know. My parents weren't great people, but they didn't talk to us about. So I didn't know what was going on in the world. I was, I just turned 5 years old, right? So I didn't know about racism. I didn't know about slavery. I didn't know about civil rights. None of that. I was just a kid who got dropped out of the sky into that spot, right? And that's where I was going to grow up. And I know what happened, of course. They went home and their parents said, for understandable reasons, because they knew about the things I didn't know about in 1969. What are you doing hanging out with those white kids, And as my years went on, that was true with the Chicanos and the Samoans and the Filipinos and the Latinos. And it was really weird because we lived in the same neighborhood, all of us. But we weren't supposed to like each other. But we went to the same schools. We were integrated, right? The government had integrated us. We were going to the same schools, walking in the same streets, playing in the same streets. So we did this thing where we would, we'd play, like street football or something. But we just pretended we didn't like each other. We wouldn't talk to each other. We just play together, It's really weird. And then we, by the time we got to high school, it was crazy. It was like, who wants to listen to our parents? What idiots? We're friends. We're friends, and we don't have to pretend we're not. So within that short period of our life, as America was changing and as this integrated neighborhood had impacted us, we learned to live together just like integration was supposed to do. Right? We were together and we learned to love each other because there was a space created, and they said, you have to learn to love each other, you have to come together, and you have to be together, and you're going to have to work this out. And we did. And I remember as a little guy, I would have never imagined a black president in my lifetime, given the situation I was growing up in. And yet the same generation elected the first black president of our country. Hopefully we'll vote for the second, right? Or whoever it might be. But my lesson was that integration works. And it works faster than anything else. So when I left and started, went to college in Texas and then lived in Louisville for 20, and even in Spokane, and I see these, black neighborhoods and this neighborhood and that neighborhood, that section, this section, it was foreign to my experience. And I would not say that things are the same as they were by any means. I'm particularly concerned these days about people of Hispanic or Latino descent who have the appearance of potentially being an immigrant, even that are being discriminated against in ways that harken back to the pre-civil rights era. That's really disturbing to me. But certainly there's a long way to go in that area. And I think that the solution is the solution that I experienced, that I was fortunate enough to experience as a poor kid in a bad neighborhood. And that was that we could learn to love each other in a very short time and realize that those differences don't make that much difference. And, to this day, the people of my childhood who I love, my best friends, Tony, he died at 40 of a drug overdose. Danny Bester, another black kid, best friend, spent his life in prison, for little drug crimes. Anyway, that's the solution. Coming together, not demonizing each other, seeing the humanity in one another, and when we don't love each other, well, I'll back up. Say we have to love each other. We don't have to like each other. Okay, that's a huge distinction, because I might meet somebody I'm not like, and I'm not like to the point where I don't like them, I dislike them. In fact, I don't want to be around them, I'm so dislike them. But I have to love them. Now that doesn't mean I have an emotional sentiment for them. It means that I treat them with care, I treat them with respect, I treat them with humanely, I treat them with knowledge and understanding and wanting to understand where they're coming from and want that they have the same freedoms that I do and the same benefits to society that I do. That's what love is. If anyone who wants to say that they're centering their religion and their values on love, well, that's what it should look like. I don't know how to make that happen. It goes back to the Stoicism. I wish I did. But we've got to see the humanity in others. And we can't do that unless we're with them. All right. Thank you.
One more.
One more? Oh, okay. I'll try to be quick.
What are some of your tools
to keep you away from being performative?
Tools to keep me from being,
Keep you away from being performative.
all right, I'm going to use this word. Sorry, folks. Just don't give a shit. That's the best one.
Authenticity?
Authenticity.
All right.
Just be yourself.
Yes.
Yeah. That's really the key. I don't have to say more, right? It's okay?
Nope.
All right. Thank you. Let's see. I see. I have run a little long. Maybe we should go right into the benediction and the closing song. Yeah. Okay. Good.
For today's benediction, I offer the following Cree Indian proverb. Only when the last tree is cut down, the last fish eaten, and the last stream poisoned, you will realize that you cannot eat money. Amen. Blessed be. Salam alaikum and shalom.
I didn't know it was going to be this week. I just, second know that